Here's every official Rubik's Cube record I have ever gotten, starting with the 2x2. Right there, 2.4 seconds. I was very pleased with that. And yeah, some of you are gonna say, well, the world record's like sub 1 second. But that's the thing, us cubers can be very negative, especially at official competitions where all of these were recorded. And so I thought, nah, enough of that. Let's focus on the positives. Let's focus on the things which I did achieve well. 4x4 is happening right now, and I got my first sub 50 solve in 2020, probably a bit too early, so 48 seconds, and then 2021, I got a 46-second solve, and I just could not beat that. I went to so many competitions. But then, like literally just a few months ago, this is one of my most recent records at Australian Nationals, after a series of really bad solves, they're all like 50-something seconds, all of a sudden, this final one. And sure, it didn't have any of the parodies, but still, I 42 seconds.
No way. That's beat us single by a lot.
42 seconds on the MGC 4x4. It feels like it's gonna be a while until I break that one, but again, you never know. These are all my record singles, of course, not the averages. It'll take a bit too long to show. So I'm gonna show you 16 of my records in this video. Officially, there are 17 events in the World Cube Association, but showing the fewest move competition doesn't really make sense, so we're not gonna do that one. It's a bit of a flex there because it means I actually did complete everything else, which was pretty nice. But here's 5x5. 5x5 is a funny one. It took a little while at the very start to sort of like get into the groove, and then suddenly, like when I go into the zone, I started like pumping out some really, really nice times. And so this was at Adelaide Summer 2023, just at the start of this year. I actually got my personal record average in this very round, a 1 minute 39 seconds, which I still haven't beat, really cool. I actually got 1 minute 40 seconds in my very last comp, so I was so close to beating it. I often come quite close to beating this single as well. This year I got like a 133 and a 134, but this was my fastest one. I'm not sure what it was. There's so many stages in 5x5, it's hard to know which one sort of makes the biggest difference. I think it's edge pairing for me, for 5x5, that like, if I have a really good edge pairing stage, then like, it just works really well. But yeah, for this one, 1 minute 32 seconds. I was quite pleased with that. And I actually have never even got sub 130, like even at home. I think like 130 flat is my fastest. And so yeah, next year, baby, 129 or 28. I've got my eyes on you.
Whoa. Nice.
Next up, 3x3 one-handed, probably the event that I've been the most consistent in improvement for. I actually think I punch above my weight for this one. I'm not sure why, like, I think I'm actually pretty quick. And I can't say that about every event, as you'll see. But for some reason, I mean, look at how fast I turn the cube one-handed. I don't actually know why. And then it gives me times like this, 17 seconds. Pretty happy with that.
That's a PR, I think.
But you might have noticed that I conveniently skipped over 3x3 two-handed. Like I went 2, 4, 5, one-handed. And that's because, I mean, that's the Rubik's Cube, right? The 3x3, that's what most people get into cubing for. So you're gonna have to wait till the end. It'll be worth it, trust me. And I mean, you're gonna see a lot of pretty cool things between now and then. So this is 6x6, actually 6x6 and 7x7. So 6x6 happened at in Sydney. These are all different Australian cities. Like I sort of travel around the country to do these competitions. And this personal record single for the 6x6 was also within my personal record mean, which was quite nice, of 3 minutes 14 pi time. Very cool. I'm so inconsistent with 6x6. I usually just don't do very well, but at this comp, I was just in the zone. It was just flow state and it was just happening. So that was really cool. I beat my like previous single by a lot. This 6x6 record I got with one of the newest 6x6s on the market. It's the WRM. I highly recommend it. It's really, really nice. I even had OLL parody in this solve. So kind of weird that I did so well. Like I possibly could have gotten like sub 3 minutes without it, but I mean, this was my overall like best time ever. I have never gotten a time faster than this, even at home. So just one of those things. Maybe that's why this was my all-time PB. But still, strange things happen in comps. That's all I can say. And I know there's a bunch of you, yes, you, possibly you, who have never solved the 6x6 before, or the 7x7. They're just big scary cubes, and get over it. If I can just say that as politely as possible, get over that fear. They're really wonderful cubes to solve. The cutoff times in competitions can be a little bit harsh, so that's probably one thing that can throw people off. But otherwise, they're pretty fun. And like once you get into the zone and you just see the pieces and everything, it's pretty great. 3 minutes and 3 seconds for the 6x6. Again, really hoping to beat that next year. I think that's really doable. Like this is definitely a time that I can beat. I feel confident that I can, you know, go sub 3 minutes next year. So watch this space.
That's like the fastest I've ever solved the 6x6 ever in my life. What is happening? It's crazy.
7x7. This is a funny one. This was actually last year, or nearly 2 years ago. It's funny, I just can't beat it. I did actually beat my 7x7 average recently, but yeah, this one, okay, you might be wondering what's on my head. That's my daughter's beanie. It's her cat beanie, and it was in a competition where I was testing like good luck charms, and this was the cat beanie, and it turned out, spoiler, it was the best good luck charm. Like it just did so well. Maybe that's why I haven't beaten my 7x7 thing since. Okay, no. I'm not superstitious. That's not why. But maybe it is why. No. I remember when people used to ask me, oh, what event would you add to the WCA? And I was like, oh, why not add, 8x8 or 9x9? And I now think, nah, that's a really terrible idea. So this cube I was using was the MGC 7x7. I've since replaced my main 7 with the WRM as well, same as the 6x6. But I don't think I was thinking about the time at all during this off. I was just doing it. Maybe the beanie just like kept my thoughts in my brain. And then when I finished and slammed the cube down, as you can see, I was like looking all around it and like, what? And then I just like told my judge like,
that was my best time like ever.
One of those records that I probably didn't fully deserve, but this one, I think I deserve this one. I work hard at 3x3 blindfolded. Like sure, I haven't gone to like that advanced stage that a lot of other cubers, blind cubers do with learning, 3 style, but I have worked hard for this. And I do also want to say, I started cubing in my 30s. I've been doing it for 5 years now, and it's not an excuse. Some of the fastest blind solvers are actually even older than me, but I have put a lot of time, energy, and effort into blind solving in particular. And I'm really, really proud of this one. Again, when you're in the zone and when I guess it's a good scramble, but also, when you just like see pieces quickly, when the memory sticks in your brain and then you execute, I always close my eyes under the blindfold and I'm just doing it and it just happened so fast. So this one happened this year at Please Be Quiet Brisbane. My priority recently has to try and like get a better mean of 3 and not like a single. And so when a good single like this comes, like it did in Sydney like nearly 4 years ago, like a 139, probably too early, like it was too good a time and I just could not beat it for ages. And then earlier this year I got a 126, but then this comp, 124, and it's like, what? I think my fastest time at home is only like 116, so it's like not even like that different. The dream would be to one day get a sub 1 minute blind solve. I think I'm gonna have to work pretty hard to reach that, but I think I can. Speaking of records that I definitely deserve. This was at a Sydney comp this year as well. Clock, yeah. I practice it, the half an hour or so leading up to clock in the competition, mostly to remind myself how to solve it. So getting this solve, a 14-second solve, I did it. It's not like I faked it or anything, but yeah, probably not fully deserved.
I just got another personal record.
Although for Megaminx, did I deserve this personal record? This was just this year in September, only a few months ago. It's very hard to say if I deserved it. On one hand, I don't regularly practice it. But on the other hand, like because it's my daughter, Ola's like favorite event, whenever she practices it, I'll like take my Megaminx out and do it with her as well. And she's just been increasing by leaps and bounds, and that's been a big motivation for me to want to improve because I can't let my daughter be better than me at cubing. So I probably practice this more than I normally would have. I got a pretty good Megaminx time in 2020, like ages ago. Got a 1 minute 47, and I just like could not beat that for years and years. I don't even know how I got that time. That was in Tasmania, and I just could not beat that for the longest time. And then 2022, I beat that time by like half a second, 0.5 seconds. And then this year, like for no reason, at the start of the year, I got like a 132. Like I beat that by 15 seconds. There was no in between. I didn't even like learn a lot of new algorithms or anything. And then it just progressed. And then now this in late 2023, I just like pull out of nowhere this 1 minute 26. Like all of a sudden, sub 130. I feel pretty good about that. I don't think I can easily beat that because I don't even know how I got it. But I mean, yeah, I'll take a 126, like, sure.
Nice. I think that's an overall PB.
Speaking of unexplained records though, this happened at one of the most stressful comps I've ever been to because it was a comp I was running. COVID, long story. It wasn't even that I was the organizer, I was also the emergency delegate. I did so bad in that competition in like every single event. And then for no reason, I suddenly just got this Pyraminx single record. Like, I probably can do better than 5 seconds at Pyraminx. It's probably one of my slowest ranks of like all my events, but Pyraminx. Same for Skewb. I mean, okay, no, I have actually like paid Skewb a bit more attention recently. Although this record happened Australian Nationals last year. This was one of the very last things which I did. And just, yeah, out of nowhere, pulled a sub 5. But I mean, how's that for a sub 5? 4.99. That's like, mwah.
That is how you get a sub 5. This is so good.
Square one. Here's a crazy story. My personal record before this was 29 seconds. And that was my first solve ever. Like the first time I ever did square one, Tasmania 2020. And it would stay that way for the next 3 years. I could not beat it no matter what. I'd easily beating it at home, but I couldn't do it in competition. And it's only this one. I got 27 seconds and then suddenly 21 seconds. Like 2 personal records in the same competition. Crazy. But I mean, I'm not gonna complain about that. This one I reckon I can beat though. I can do better than 21 seconds. My daughter actually recently beat that. She got a 20-second solve at like the last con we went to and I was so mad at her. Okay, we've got 4 events left. We're now into the big blind. Because I find blind quite enjoyable, I thought, sure, let's try 4 blind. I learned it like a week or 2 before the competition started. I did like 3 attempts at home. I like failed, and then I think I got the 3rd one. And then I went into the competition, did 3 attempts in the competition, and succeeded in all 3. The first 6 times I ever tried doing 4 blind, 4 of them were successes and 3 of them were in a comp. I am quite sure I'm one of the only people in the world who has a 4 blind mean who got it the first time they ever did it in a competition. But this is not that one. So that was in 2021, my famous 4 blind mean. Since then, I started to focus on 5 blind, but then this year I was like, oh, no, I can beat that. Like, it was my fastest time was like, I think it was 16 minutes. And I was just going very slow. We call it like doing a safety. So I was like, I can definitely go faster than that. I had to sort of like relearn a few things this year because I just hadn't been practicing 4 blind. Bunch of failures. And then finally, this guy, just last month actually, at Brisbane Big and Blind 2023. I'm hoping next year, that might be the year, I can get a sub 10 minute 4 blind solve. But I got this in competition, got a really lovely 12 minute 14 second solve. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. I mean, that's like a 4-minute improvement. There aren't many events that you can say you've improved by 4 minutes. And 5 blind, of course. I made a whole video about this one. If you haven't seen it, I would love it if you could. This was my impossible. I mean, it's a 5x5. When you look at a 5x5, most people are like, how do you solve it? But then solving it blindfolded, I still can't believe that I did it. It was also, fun fact, the only time I've ever successfully solved a 5x5 blindfolded. I've tried it a bunch of times at home. I've never gotten it at home. I've tried it a bunch of times in competition, and I've never gotten it in competition as well until this one in April this year, 2023. And I haven't attempted it since. I don't think I will. Like, maybe I'll try and go for the 5x5 mean. That's the only thing that's missing on my profile. I've got a successful attempt in every single event, and I've got a success in all of the averages and means as well. But this one, there are, I think, still less than 100 people or around there in the whole world who have got their entire profile filled. I would love to be able to say that I'm one of them, but man, oh man, that will be hard. That will be so hard. But still, I can celebrate this success. 37 minutes, 54 seconds. I mean, it's not a super fast time, but it's a success. I did it. Okay, 2 more. Multi-blind. So earlier this year, I got a personal record of 7 out of 7. So that was pretty nice. I did 7 cubes successfully. At home, my best was 8. I did that like 4 years ago. And then for some reason, like, I don't know, comp environment's just different from at home. But I've been trying 8 cubes for a while. I did a 9 attempt once and I got like 5 out of 9. And I was like, yeah, I probably am not ready for it yet. So at this competition, which was just last month, attempted 8 and I got 6 cubes out of 8. I was like, oh man, do I try again? Like it's very, I find it very mentally taxing doing that many cubes. And I mean, if anything, fatigue should make the second attempt even worse. But I thought, nah, I just have to give it a go, but maybe be more careful this time. So 8 cubes again, memorized all 8. I felt pretty good about it, but I was like, oh, before I start, I probably should just revise in case I pick up any mistakes. I usually do if I'm careful like that. So I did, went through all the cubes, and annoyingly, I didn't make any mistakes in my memo. So I probably could have just started right away and like got a better time, but that's okay. I mean, time doesn't matter too much. And yeah, I succeeded. I got 8 out of 8, which is really nice. I've now matched my best at home. And my goal for this one is to get to double digits. I think it's possible, maybe next year, to get 10 out of 10. Oh, here's something silly. There's only 7 cubes there, even though I said this was an 8 cube attempt. I've literally recorded like every single multi-blind attempt I've ever done. And this one I was like, I'm probably not gonna get it. And so I didn't record it. And of course I get it in the one that I don't record. But of course, I've saved the best for last, and it is 3x3. Can I show you first my second fastest time? So this was Adelaide Summer 2022, January last year, and I got this really nice 10.19 second solve. So close to sub 10, but I mean, that's pretty great. But my fastest time was actually before that. It was literally just like a few weeks before that at Northside Duology in early January 2022. That's nearly 2 years ago. If you've seen the vlog, I can't explain the feeling. It was incredible. You can see my reaction right there.
Oh my god. What?
What? It's like, it was full step as well. But yeah, 9.96 by the skin of my teeth. Just getting sub 10. So satisfying to have a personal record single that's like less than 10 seconds. But here's the thing. Since that comp, I've done like dozens of competitions since. I've literally had, I counted 165 solves of the 3x3 and I have not beaten it. At home when I'm practicing, yeah, easily like a few sub 10 solves every session, but I just cannot pull it out in competition. And it's so easy to get demoralized. But I mean, like I said, that's the reason why I made this video, right? Like my brain so easily goes to the negative stuff and I want to train myself to think more positively. Look how well I did for everything else. If that's possible, breaking my 3x3 single is possible too. And I think I'm gonna get it next year. But what are some records that you are most proud of? Can you let me know down in the comments? I'd love to read them. And if you go over here, you'll find out the story behind some of those crazy records that I just talked about.